Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has finished at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or White Hart Lane, if you will. Spurs won, Manchester United won in the race for fourth place or fifth, depending on what happens to the City. And it's a stalemate between Oli and Jose. I'm here again, of course, with Ramon and with a special guest, Maya, the Spurs fan. How you guys doing?
Good, I'm good, thank you.
All good, all good.
I'm going to come to Ramon first. I'm going to give Maya time to digest everything that's happened. Of course, it was a very intense game for different reasons. Ramon, as the, I'm going to say the neutral Arsenal fan. You don't like Spurs, you don't like Man United. How did you see that game?
It actually went as I predicted. I think I said on the dugout this week it'll be a draw. I just feel like that sort of first game back. It had a bit of a lethargic feel, especially in the first half, and then sort of opened up in the second half. For me, it was classic Jose. Go 1-0 up, you park the bus and try to see what you can get from there. And I think he'd probably be disappointed that he didn't hold out, but at the same time, United started peppering Tottenham towards the end, so I think he'd have to just take the point in the end. So yeah, for me, Spurs were threatening in the first half, but not overly. But then, yeah, Man United properly stepped it out, especially when the return of Pog really changed the game for them.
That's right, Pog back. Maya, Spurs fan, of course, you went 1-0 up. But overall, was that a point that you would have taken at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't hugely optimistic going into the game. When I saw the team, that just completely doubled my optimism. Was like a nil. Happy with the back line especially, and I just sensed after everything going on this week, Rashford was due a goal. You know what I mean? It just would have seemed right, wouldn't it? So I was definitely worried about that. So I will take the point happily, especially after the second half. The first half, I wouldn't have taken the point because we were on top. For me, the best man on the pitch was Lamela. And going into the second half, no, I wouldn't have taken the point. But after that second half, yeah, I'm taking it and I'm running.
I'll get into my analysis in a second. You said Lamela was the best person on the pitch. It's funny because I saw a tweet. I don't know who it was from, and they were like, Lamela, I think Gary Neville said Lamela is the best player on the pitch, but he hasn't really done anything. Like, he did a lot without doing anything. He was running around, he was pressing. He definitely looked like he was fired up. Maybe, obviously, Dele Alli's out. He thought, if I put in a good performance, I can remain in the team. We know Ali hasn't had the best, been in the best form.
Yeah, do you know what? Some of those players that do the most of nothing are some of the most crucial players on the team. It's hard to give another example, but exactly what he's saying. He did a lot of nothing, but it was really, really critical. He looked sharp. Lamela's always been a favourite of mine, and people have judged me for it because he did a lot of nothing.
I'm judging you because he paid for 30 million. I know we're going. He paid for 30 million, and he did one Rabona. He did one Rabona again in the Europa League against God knows who, and he ain't done nothing since. Sorry, he hasn't.
No, I know.
The glasses.
No way.
All right.
He just has a special place in my heart, however inconsistent he is. But for me, he looked the sharpest. He wanted the ball the most. He was as much as he did a lot of nothing, he still looked really creative in that central role. And yeah, I think I understood why he came off when he did. But for me, when he was on, he looked sharp.
Listen, I'm going to have my take on the game. Obviously, Man United fan, everyone knows. And I'm not going to lie, like, before that penalty went in, I was ready to go ballistic on this line. Absolutely ballistic. Because
Roy Keane thing, yeah?
Listen, Roy Keane ain't got nothing on me. The way I was about. Because the way we were due to lose the game, for me, was like 3 errors. From Luke Shaw, the header, and then running forward. I don't know where he was going. Maguire getting skinned like he was like a training code. It was mad. And David De Gea, like, the shot is right at you. I know it was with some power, but how does that go in? And the way the game was going, I thought, Jose, masterclass. Not this. We do not deserve this. Jose don't deserve this win. Not against us. And I was worried. I was worried we were going to lose this game. We're going to be 3 points behind Chelsea. They got a game in hand. Top four's gonna go. Spurs are gonna go past. Like everything was going past my head, through my head. And then Pogba came on. Pogba came and changed the game. Like, it's funny because I think the last time he came off the bench for us was, I think it was back in December, we played Watford. I think we lost the game in the end. I can't remember now, but he was the best player when he came on the pitch. And the way he changed the game again, you could see he was just a level above everyone, even Bruno Fernandes. But you saw that them two were just like two world-class players among a sea of, no disrespect, a lot of mediocrity compared to them. And of course, they linked up a couple of times, and then Pogba won the penalty from Bruno. And I was like, you know what? A draw ain't the worst result. I wanted to win, but it's better than a loss. And I know we could have won it at the end. It was a bad decision from the referee. VAR did its job. But I think overall, I'm disappointed we didn't win, because I thought going into the game, we would get the win. And for me, before the break, we were in a better position than Spurs in terms of players, form, etc. And then we had this lockdown, and I was like, I don't know how we're gonna, everyone's gonna return. And so I'm slightly disappointed, because I think if we got the win, it would be full steam ahead for top four. I want to speak about the lineup. You mentioned the lineup, Maya. You said when you saw the lineup, you kind of resigned yourself to possibly defeat. What was your thought on Dyer and Sanchez as a defensive partnership? Because I know me, I was licking my lips. I was like, yeah, Rashford hat trick each. Nice.
I was quite optimistic. Yeah. For me, Sanchez is a wonderful defender. He's still learning a lot about the game. So for me, if you're playing Sanchez at the back, obviously whatever's going on with Vertonghen at the minute, I understand him not playing, contract issues, whatnot. But I'm thinking you have to get Alderweireld in there alongside Sanchez. A bit of stability, a bit of experience. And for me, they play well together. Alongside that, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Eric Dyer at centre half. I'm a centre half myself by trade, and for me, when he plays, it's just not. It doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't. I don't know what it is, but I've never been a fan. However, tonight, let's take away the penalty, because it was a wonderful piece of skill from Paul Pogba. To drop the shoulder like that, come inside. There's not many defenders that aren't going to be thrown off by a piece of skill like that. So if you take that away, I think Eric Dyer's performance was relatively well. I have to hold my hands up and give it to the back four. The back four as a line was fairly stable. Aurier and Davis, I've never been a huge fan of the two of them. Sometimes
usually when Spurs finish a game, it's all eyes on Aurier. You go on Twitter, exactly. Him, and today he was good.
He's put in a good performance. For me, I have to, I was wrong, I guess. Like I said, obviously Dyer gave away the penalty, which resulted in a draw. But if he hadn't have, and the penalty hadn't have happened, and we would have walked away 1-0, I would have been praising Eric Dyer, because I really did think he had quite a solid performance in there. So if that is an option going forward to play that back four, I was speaking to my brother, because he's actually a footballer himself. So we love to talk through the game and analyse, because he's a winger, about how we'd run at players and things like that. And his view on it was that they have been clearly working on that. Jose knew that back four for weeks, and they've been working on that, nurturing, and it definitely looked like it. And I think if he is going to go forward with that, then for me, it's still a bit up in the air about Dyer, but I'd be happy working with definitely.
That's what I was going to say. Going forward with that, Ramon, I would be surprised if Dyer and Sanchez was his partnership for the rest of the season. Maybe a horses for courses thing. But just before we came on live, Ramsey, you said master.
He's a defensive manager, and he will nurture his defense. For me, everything about his game is always defensive. So for him to completely perfect that defense, whether it's working with Alderweireld, Dyer, whoever, I think that will be his most important thing going forward. Yeah,
definitely. Ramsey, you back?
I'm back. Sorry.
You're looking up there for a while. I was staring in the. Before we came on live, you mentioned Jose Masterclass. What was that looking like, a Jose Masterclass?
Yeah, I mean, if Spurs got the 1-0, everyone's gonna say, you know what, Jose does what he does in the big game, parks the bus, gets the job done. I was at one point, I was looking at the team, and it was about 20 minutes to go. The back four were peng back. The midfield were peng back. Kane was basically CM/DM in the middle of the park. The ball's just getting Aurier was launching the ball, and it just felt like I've seen this before. I've seen this so many times before. I saw it at Chelsea. I saw it at United. I've even seen them do that at Real Madrid. Like I've seen it before so many times. And it's just Jose all over. And I also thought if that was Poch, that would never ever happen. Like to sit that deep. I've never seen Poch do that before.
At home as well.
Yeah, at home as well. And I feel like Spurs fans might not like it but at the same time, it can get the job done. And I think it almost did. And in the end, I guess a point in the end against Man United isn't the worst of results. I know Tottenham are chasing more than United are, but yeah, he almost got it right. And it was just at that point when Man United was starting to create as well. When Pogba and Bruno were just starting to click, and all of a sudden the space just got limited. There was nowhere to go. Like everyone was in that same part of the half, and that's Jose saying, "Right, them man are getting too much space."
After Spurs got that goal, because I think that's the worst thing you can do against a Jose team is concede first, because he is in his element. He's like, "Bring it on, bring it on," and obviously they nearly got the second. Brilliant save by De Gea, made up for his mistake from Son. What's his name? Loris made a brilliant save himself from Anthony Martial, and Jose was like, "Yep, I don't care. Bring it on, bring it on." And you saw how much the penalty, especially the second one that was given, and how much it kind of irked him, because he was like, all my plans, everything that I was working for was about to come to fruition, and it's been taken away, of course, by the referee. I haven't seen his comments, but he's going to say the referee, without a doubt. I don't actually need to read. I can probably play a interview from like 3 years ago, and he'd be just regurgitating Jose stuff. And I like Jose, don't worry, I like him. In terms of the race for top 4, top 5, whatever you want to call it, Maya, where does this leave Spurs now? I'm not sure what your future fixtures are. You might know them off the top of your head, but where does this leave Spurs now in terms of the race?
I think obviously it's hard to be an optimistic Tottenham fan. It is. You're automatically resigned to thinking the worst. And I think I genuinely think that whatever happens with City, this top 4, top 5 business, I don't think it Tottenham. I think that spell of games before coronavirus, it killed us off. It did. And I think I don't want to jump to conclusions, but we don't get a whole lot of goals unless they're from Harry Kane. There's a big debate over that. And he looked so off the mark tonight. And I don't want to jump to conclusions, but he didn't look sharp. He looked sloppy. I don't know even how many touches he had. The ones that he did have weren't great. And just little things like that. I mean, Lucas Moura being pegged back for a little injury that he picked up in training. I just think Tottenham's look this season, it isn't heading in the direction to be challenging for anything around that position on the league table, to be honest. And I think most Tottenham fans have resigned themselves to that. I think it's just about building now and focusing and regrouping.
And is Jose the one to rebuild? I mean, he hasn't got a track record of necessarily rebuilding a team, especially in the way that Daniel Levy likes to do it.
He definitely doesn't, but he does have a track record of winning. And I think as a Tottenham fan, and in my lifetime of being a Tottenham fan, I'm only 21. I haven't seen that many wins, and I think a lot of fans are just getting to the point now where we're like, just give us a League Cup, just get us like, we don't care, to be honest, and we want to win something. And I feel like in time, and it is time that Jose needs, we may start to see I don't know if it will be a better Tottenham outfit. It will be a hell of a lot more defensive Tottenham outfit, but it might be a winning Tottenham outfit. And that's the main thing for me at the minute. And I'm sure that I speak on behalf of a lot of Tottenham fans.
Ramsey, as an Arsenal fan, that must be the perfect result for you. Both Man United and Spurs dropping points. Neither team, can keep any bragging rights after obviously Arsenal's bad result on Wednesday.
Well, there's no such thing as a perfect result for us because we can't take advantage of it. So I know technically we've got a game in hand now because it was our game in hand on Wednesday. So, we beat Brighton and we now sort of 2 points closer to both of you. I think we go level one with Spurs if we beat Brighton. Oh no, we go
behind
above them. We go above them. Yeah, so we go level. So we go above Spurs. But I mean, as I said before, for me, you know, we may beat Brighton. We might not even beat Brighton. But you know, it's about that consistency, and I don't think Arsenal really have that. So whatever our rivals do, I just don't think we're going to be good enough to catch them. But you know, at least I don't have no one laughing at us because they didn't win. They didn't win this weekend, innit? So I'm good with that. Can I just say though, I want to talk. I just want to quickly speak about that goal, Bergwijn's goal.
Yeah, we have to
because I saw something on Twitter. And I don't know how true it is, but you know the man that predicts the chance that it will score, like the expected chance to goal. Yeah, expected chance that he's going to score that goal. Yeah. They had it at 6%, 6% chance that should go in the back of the net, which is so low. And someone said to me, but no, he blasted that at him. So are your goalkeeper. You're expected shots to be blasted at you. You're supposed to keep them out. And I like, I know, sure, Maguire were bad, but it's one too many times for me for De Gea now. And it's the same sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing. It's the shot that you know, you should be saving. It just goes in. Like I've seen it at the near post a couple of times. You've seen it at Arsenal. We kind of should have stopped Xhaka's shot one time. I just feel like it's not mistakes that other keepers are making where it's like, you know, coming for corners and you're spinning it. It's the same old thing that he used to be great at, which is straight up shot stopping.
Yeah, because even the way that he went at it, like when I saw the replay from look at the angle that Bergwijn shot from, and it's like one hand's going with his palm, and the other is like he's going to fist it, like punch it. I don't know what. It's frustrating. Like Roy Keane was pissed off. He was. What did he say? I wouldn't even let him back on the coach.
Yeah.
He's like, I've had enough with this keeper, all that kind of stuff. And there's obviously a lot of talk about whether Dean Henderson should be number 1 next year. I mean, I like him. I really like. He has given us so much service in the last few years that I feel that we owe him a bit of time and, you know, and gratitude for what he's done to say maybe he can get back to some kind of form. But I mean, it's a ruthless game, isn't it? And if it's costing you points and costing you games, you have to do what's best for the team. And in reserve, we got the best. I would say the best number 2, who hasn't really put a foot wrong when he has played in Sergio Romero. But David De Gea shouldn't think that his place is secure. Everyone should be fine for their position. But it was poor. It was so poor. When I first saw it, to be fair, I was like, I thought everyone's gone. I thought, a lot of power, good shot, went through him. But it was right at him. He didn't have to do much. So I'm not mad because I think Spurs have had issues or concerns about Lloris at times. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, again, speaking to my family during the game, we definitely all concluded that De Gea and Lloris are very similar keepers. They're keepers that have serviced the club, that in times come up with the most extraordinary, amazing saves, but the most simple saves they struggle with. And I think it was just quite fortunate that being club captain and whatnot, Lloris, when he was out and Gazzaniga wasn't extraordinary, Lloris still had a place to go back to. But De Gea for me, for a keeper of De Gea's of his caliber, he has to save that. Like you, same as you. When I watched it originally, I thought it's a decent strike, a lot of power, and no one's fault. But on the replay, he has to save it. Obviously, it was an absolute cock up in defence, but for someone like De Gea, it's excuse after excuse, and there comes a time where a fresher pair of legs, and in Dean Henderson, he's been an incredible keeper this season, and he definitely deserves, I think, to really be given a run of games at United to prove that he can fill that spot and make the simple saves as well as the extraordinary saves.
I'm going to bring Audrey in just a second. And what I would say is that we've had a number of keepers, like since Schmeichel, and of course Van der Sar came at one point. We've had a lot of keepers, and there's 2 that spring to mind in Ben Foster and I was going to say Thomas Kuszczak, but it could be Thomas Kuszczak or Tim Howard, Roy Carroll. And all of those keepers look good when they're at teams where there's no pressure. And as soon as they come to Man United, where the pressure's on, all eyes are on, they're not the same. Like the level that's needed is not the same. So Dean Henderson makes that massive error against Liverpool for Sheffield United. And everyone says, oh, bad error. And that's it. You forget about it. Whereas if you're Man United, you make that mistake against Liverpool, it's a different kettle of fish. So I would love, everyone deserves a chance. You prove what you can do. You say, okay, give them a chance. But because De Gea's proved what he can do for Man United at the highest level, I'll be quicker to give him another chance. I know he's had a few, to be fair, but give him another chance to quickly get rid of him to bring in Dean Henderson. But of course, that's for Solskjaer to make that that decision. Audrey.
Oh, sugar. Hello.
Nice of you to join us. Well, we're going to get straight into it. We've been talking, obviously, Man United versus Spurs 1-1. What's your thoughts on the game? Happy with the result, or you think we should have won the game?
We should have won the game. And the person I'm going to blame for us drawing the game is going to have to go on Ole. I'm not a hater, but if you look at the team, our best team was when he made the subs. McTominay should have never started. Daniel James should have never started. I'm going to be, you know what? I'm going to be biased. Yeah, I like Lindelof, but for me, I would have rather played Bailly in it. This is me being biased. Secondly, I kind of feel like what was a bit sloppy. I remember Wan-Bissaka was terrible as well. Off the ball, on the like he's horrible. But one-on-one, when it comes to defending, he's good. But today he was bad. Rashford was horrible. I'm gonna give Rashford. I'm not gonna criticize him as much, but he was really bad. And I'm gonna say he's just come up with it.
Why are you not gonna criticize him? Why are you not gonna criticize him? Because he gave to the children and that.
No, because to be fair, yeah, he's just come back from injury, innit? To be fair, like if I just go on him and dig at him, it's not right. Like a lot of them did look unfit. Look at Garlo. He's put on weight. He looks fat.
But no, okay. Fair enough, innit? I like, obviously everyone's entitled to their opinion, but to put the blame on Solskjaer, I'm not understanding why.
You have to blame. Look at the team selection. Why would you start McTominay in a game where you know Matic can do a better job?
Whoa. Let me I'll give you a reason why I started McTominay. For me, obviously, one of the options could have been Pogba.
Hold on, Neeks, if I cut you off, Neeks.
Yeah.
Neeks, if I cut you off, did you know, you remember McTominay did not start in the game versus City? Remember that, yeah? He did not start.
Who started that game? Who was it? Matic against Fred, Matic and Fred.
Yeah, remember McTominay came on after.
Yeah,
come back. Remember that.
I remember.
That's the game.
Go on.
Ole wanted to win against Spurs. You play Matic against Tottenham. When he came on, he done a better job. I'm sorry, I have an agenda against McTominay. I have an agenda. You've all heard me.
I don't agree. I'll tell you why. Because I think when you've got Sissoko, Winks, and Lamela as in the midfield three, so to speak, that's a lot of running, a lot of legs. You cannot expect Fred to do all the covering for those energetic players. Bruno Fernandes, of course, he presses from the front. But I feel the reason why he played McTominay instead of Matic is because of the legs that he will give. And to be fair, Spurs didn't dominate the midfield. So I'm not sure.
Can I answer your question? What legs did McTominay give apart from giving the ball away and giving sloppy passes?
No.
Jets inside.
Every time he got the ball from deep, he was the one breaking into the if the ball was bad, the ball was bad. But Matic, at his age, and he's never been a quick runner or anything like that, I don't think he'd be able to last against Sissoko. Sissoko was going all game. Lamela was going.
No, but then Matic has the strength to match him, though. He's got the strength to match him. I'm sorry. Sissoko is bigger, yes, he's whammer, but Matic can match his strength. McTominay can't match his strength.
He can't match his legs. He can't match his legs. He will get outrun by Sissoko, Lamela, and Winks. But for me, if I was dropping McTominay, it wouldn't be for Matic anyway. It would have been for Pogba. I wouldn't be bringing in a more defensive midfielder against a Jose midfield. Jose ain't got none of those midfielders' job there was to attack anyway. So I wouldn't bring in defensive midfielder. I would have had Pogba starting next to Fred. But that's the only thing I would have.
I think you need to remember the reason why Pogba didn't start was Pogba just come back.
Of course, I'm not.
Like,
That's the point. That's why I can't blame Solskjaer, because I might have started.
But you can blame him because there's no reason for him to start Greenwood. I mean, for him to start Daniel James ahead of Greenwood. That does not make sense.
I agree with that. I agree with that. When I did my preview, I was contemplating Daniel James or Greenwood, and I think Daniel James off the bench against tired legs is much more effective than running that, defense. Especially they're going to be sitting deep. By defense, that's fresh from the start. Greenwood is a much better footballer, technically, better goalkeeper, etc. So I would have started Greenwood, to be fair, and you got Igalo on the bench if you need to.
To be fair, yeah, Daniel James didn't look as sharp as he normally he was dead.
No,
I didn't offer anything.
Okay, tell me which Man United players do you think played good today?
Do you know what? I'm gonna have to say BRUNO and POGBA.
Yeah, exactly. So those two are a level above everyone else, and it's the fact
that wasn't a good level. That's not their best level. That's the problem. That's not their best level.
We've been out. Everyone's been out for 3 months. So
that's no excuse. To look at City. That's no excuse.
But even City weren't at full strength. Ramon, Arsenal fan, worst City playing the best that you had seen in that game? Or did Arsenal? Everybody was taking the game.
You know,
yeah,
right,
I mean, we conceded just before half time.
1 second, Audrey.
Yeah, we conceded just before half time in the Man City game, and even though the sort of 10 minutes before we conceded, it started to feel like it was City turning up. It still wasn't City at their full-on best. And it could have been a lot worse. So I think, and I said it before, and I think they mentioned it in commentary. The first 45 minutes of all these games is so tight because no one wants to go for it, because everyone knows that they ain't got the legs to really be chasing all over the pitch. So as soon as Spurs lost the ball, there was no high pressing. As soon as Man United lost the ball, there's no high pressing. It's about let's keep it compact for the first 45 minutes and try and see what the other team is doing. So I think I don't think it's an excuse about coming back. You have to just accept this is what it's going to be for the first couple of games.
Because
the players aren't fresh.
I think Martial was poor. He was barely in the game. He had one chance that. Brilliant.
Okay, Neeks. I'm gonna stop you there. Yeah, I agree. Martial was poor, but when Igalo came on, did he have any of the ball? Look at Igalo came on in the last minutes of the games. He was starving. So you can criticize Martial, but you can't criticize him as much because it was the same with Igalo. That's the problem with Man United.
To an extent, but Martial got enough of the ball to do something, and he didn't do much. And it's one thing even not doing anything, but. You're supposed to be pressing. BRUNO was from the defensive midfield, was pressing the defenders and the goalkeeper more than Martial was. Now, I think for me, Martial was poor. I think Daniel James was poor. McTominay was poor. I don't think Fred did much, but he was okay. Lindelof.
No. Fred was a crook. Fred was a crook today. Let's not do that. Fred was a crook today because there was silly passes and silly mistakes he made in the game. To be fair, yeah, everyone was pissed poor. Everyone was pissed poor. Like you said, BRUNO and POGBA are the best people on the team. I'm not gonna let you sit here and say Fred was whatever. Fred was piss poor. He's not gonna get away with that.
That's Solskjaer's fault. Is that
Sorry?
Is it Solskjaer's fault that Fred was poor?
Okay, of course it's not yet. But then again, it's still his fault at his team selection. I'm sorry, as a manager, when you play against a Mourinho team. You know the players that can do well. His biggest mistake was playing Daniel James against Tottenham and playing Matic playing McTominay against Matic. That was his biggest mistake, and it bit him in his bum. You're not going to do that against a team like Mourinho that sits back. Matter of fact, back to Tottenham. Harry, have you guys spoken about Tottenham yet?
I mean, you can go on. We got my.
Okay. Kane is my guy, yeah. Like I'm not gonna sit here and criticize Kane.
Criticize him? No, you sit here and criticize. No, wait, Audrey. You sit here and criticize every Man United player apart from Pogba.
Okay.
Criticize Kane.
Okay.
Criticize Kane.
I think the problem with Harry Kane, yeah. I'm gonna criticize him. I think the problem with Harry Kane is that his injuries are gonna finish him off. He's gonna become like Wayne Rooney. You know how over the years Wayne Rooney's body died on him. If you look at Mourinho's team, all these players are falling deeper and deeper. Harry Kane is falling deeper and deeper. You can't expect a guy like Harry Kane that's come back from injury to start like mashing the same what he's been mashing previously. So that's the advantage of Harry Kane. But like I said, it goes on Mourinho as well. When the Mourinho manages your team, players tend to fall deeper and deeper and deeper. That's all I'm going to say on Harry Kane. I'm not going to cancel him just yet. I'm going to wait till a couple more games and see, because at the end of the day, yeah, none of you guys can sit in this chat and tell me Harry Kane isn't a world-class striker. I'm so sorry. He's better than everyone striker in the league, bar Aguero.
I agree. Harry Kane is world class. Listen, I would come with the greatest as Harry Kane, but Maya, what's your thoughts on Harry Kane?
Yeah, so I think if we're going to come, and I completely agree, Audrey, with the status of being up there with the best striker in the league, then we can't be making... We can to an extent, but I can't leave it down to his injury. He's been fit for a while now. They've been in the training ground for a good solid amount. He's been posting training videos. He looks sharp. He wants to give it all this on the gram, and then he brings it out onto the pitch and he's lacking. He's flat. I tell you what it is with Harry Kane. I tell you what I love about the game that he plays is he loves to pick the ball up deep and he loves to create his own chances. A lot of the time in the latter half of Eriksen's game, when he's not been great and Dele's been off the ball, he does his own work for himself, and I love that. However, in this setup that Mourinho has, which is a deep defensive setup anyway, if you've got Kane who is picking up the ball deep on top of a defensive Jose setup, he's out the game. He's completely out the game. And I think I saw in the stats he had 9 touches in the first half. And for the best striker in the world, it's just not good enough. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because everyone's off touch a little bit. But
rewind that. The what striker in the world? The best striker in the world?
Sorry? He's in contention. He's in contention for me. Fully fit Harry Kane performing is in contention for one of the best strikers in the world. And you have to then, if you are going to be being tossed around in that bracket, you have to have more than 9 touches in the first half of a game that you're playing at home. So I will give him.
I think for me, I hear what you're saying. I think for me with Kane, it's not so much necessarily the touches, because with a player like him, yeah, who's let's not get this twisted. Harry Kane's a goal scorer. He's now a proven Premier League goal scorer, and arguably a proven international goal scorer as well, because he's got a golden boot at a World Cup. He's a proven goal scorer. We know this, yeah. And he doesn't even his time at England, it's not necessarily he's had the touches, but he's been able to put the ball in the back of the net. That's what we know Kane for. And so he could have had no touches in the first half and had 2 in the second half. And if the 2 of them go in the back of the net, he's had a good game, because that's what he's there for. He's there to score goals. And I think, but when he doesn't score, people start to look at everything around it and how he isn't getting enough of the ball and where's it all going. I think Dele Alli is a big part of Harry Kane's game, and I think when he's there, Kane doesn't need to drop as deep, because Ali's kind of doing that and bringing it forward, so it pushes Kane high up the pitch.
And on form, because Ali's been out of form for a lot of this
season.
No,
true. But even if Ali's not on form, he's in the place where Kane doesn't have to be. So he's still he's occupying that position. I think Lamela does have that, but he's not. I don't know if Lamela's naturally that person to be a second striker like how Ali is, sort of thing. And when Ali and Kane are on form with Son, it's a problem.
I completely agree. Yeah, I do.
I just feel like he works better when Ali's there. But also, I just think I don't think he's really fully fit. And we said this before, Champions League final. He's playing very similar. He's come back from injury, and I just don't think he's there at the level to be fit. And we probably won't see the best of Kane until next season. I just don't think we'll see it.
Fair enough. It's funny because I think around this time it could have been the Euros, and we're questioning whether or not you're going to be fit for the Euros or not. I think to give most players a couple of games to see where they're really at, because it's very hard to judge after just one game. form, fitness, etc. Finally, I want to ask Audrey, where do you think it leaves Man United in the top 4 race? Audrey?
Can you guys hear me? Because like my mic's a bit buzzy.
I can hear you crackling, but we can hear you talking. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jesus Christ is really bad. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Could you repeat the question again, please? Because it's making like a buzz noise.
Where does this leave Man United in the top 4 race?
Can you guys hear that noise? Where
We
does
can
it
hear
leave
the
Man
noise.
United in top 4 race?
We can hear the noise, we can hear you, but where does this leave Man United in the race to top 4?
Well, for me, yeah, I won't really completely say that out the top 4 because if you look at the remaining I believe the 8 games left, we kind of had the best. We kind of had the best run. The only problem, my only fear is that if Chelsea go on and win all their games, which is impossible because they still have to play Liverpool and Man City. But then again, if they do manage to get points from Liverpool and Man City, that cancels us outside the top 4. So we might just have to focus on the Europa League if that comes back.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's set to come back in August. I think it's like one leg basically from quarterfinals onwards. Yeah. As it stands, Chelsea are 48 points. Manchester United are on 46. You've got Sheffield on 44, Wolves 43, Spurs 42, Arsenal on 40. I mean, if you want to add Burnley and Crystal Palace, they're on 39. But I'm not going to add them anymore. Yeah, interesting.
Arsenal should not be in the mix of top 4. Arsenal should not be in the mix of top 4. Let's be serious with top 4 contenders, please.
I agree. I fully agree with you.
So, Ramsey, let's be serious with top 4. Let's be serious with top 4.
100%. I'm agreeing with you. Arsenal should not be considered top 4. And to be fair, Arsenal are barely. I don't even know if we can consider them in the race for Europa League. Depending on how many places are available, because we're not even in that place at the moment. Where are we, Neeks? Are we 9th?
You're 9th, yeah.
Yeah, we're 9th. We're not even in Europa League place yet. So we're in contention for the Europa League, you know. That's it. That's as good as it gets.
Fair enough. Guys, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you guys for joining. I want everyone who's watching to hit the like, hit the subscribe. Go into the description below and follow all of these guys here, including myself. Their Twitter pages are there. And yeah, the Premier League, the race for is still on, and we will see you on Sunday with the Merseyside derby. Everton.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for coming. Everton versus Liverpool. Liverpool go towards and march towards their first Premier League title, their 19th league title in all. We'll see you soon.
Cheers, guys.